Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we discuss popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
So we are doing 90 Day Fiancé the other way, which we call TOE. For short.
If you listen to Reality Gaze.
Yes, I can't take credit for that, coming up with that. So this is episode 2.
Yes. And this Nicole and Mahmoud, this is a doozy of a situation. And I'm here, I last week I was a little unsure about this. Like, how's the season going to be? Should we be recapping it? And then this week I was like, things are getting good.
Yeah, we were just getting to know people last week. So it's kind of hard to get
a sense. Yeah. It's also really hard too before they travel there, right? All of that, it's kind of boring watching them go to the airport and say goodbye and repeat the same 7 things that we've heard them say, for the last 2 hours and then get on the plane. Like it really starts getting good once they're both physically in the same place.
Yeah, because then the issues come out.
Yes.
Well, do you want to start with Nicole and Mahmoud? Is it Mahmoud?
Is it Mahmoud?
Mahmoud? Or Mahmoud? No, Mahmoud.
Mahmoud. I feel like that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Let's start with them. So and Nicole's the one you see in the press. They use her picture a lot in the description. And she's very, she's very pretty and she's got this very unique look. And just looking at her instantly, I knew that she probably worked in fashion and clothes and something like that. She's very stylish. But she's 38 years old. She lives in Los Angeles. She has 2 jobs. One of her jobs is being a pizza delivery driver. And then her other job is reselling clothes. And, she loves fashion. She's from a small town in Idaho called Council.
She went to fashion design school.
Yes, she did. It sounds like she wandered for like 10 years, kind of going different places, exploring the world, went to fashion design school, and then probably got she did. She got a job in fashion design, and it just she hated it. It wasn't for her, which happens a lot. And she started studying meditation and spirituality, and that led to her trip to Egypt.
Yeah, she said she was in Egypt and she was shopping for fabric. She met Mahmoud. They spent a few days together, talked all the time. And then 5 days after she got back to the U.S., he asked if she would come back. And so she did a week later, and they got married.
Yes. So just so I was trying to do the timeline. So I think she meets him. Who the other thing is, Mahmoud is 26, Nicole's 38. So there is a bit of an age gap. And so they hung out. She meets him during the day. They hung out the whole night. They spend the day together. So it looks like she's probably going home the second day. So now that's 2 days. She goes back to LA. She's in LA for 5 days. And then he asks her to marry him. And then she gets on a plane and goes back there for 7 days later.
Yeah, she said a week later she got on a flight, and I guess they got married immediately. But then after 2 months in Egypt, she said she needed to leave.
Yes, because she learned what everyone learns is, Egypt's really fun when you're a tourist,
right? But
living there, especially as a woman,
married to an Egyptian man,
is not good. Is not fun. It's not the fun. I also want to know
what she's used to.
Yes.
I mean, I think she just had. I mean, obviously, when they were just dating for those couple days. Like he didn't really have any right to comment on what she was wearing or all these complaints that he now has. And she said that once she went back there and they got married, he basically told her, look, you cannot dress like this anymore. There's nothing wrong with the way she dresses. She dresses like a American woman who's interested in fashion. I mean, but he wants her to cover up all the time, cover up her head. Don't talk to men, don't touch men, don't hug men. He's just imposing all these religious and cultural values on her, like all at once, as soon as she gets there. And so that just drove her crazy, and she said she had to leave.
Well, I have a question. How does someone who's I don't get the sense that Nicole makes a lot of money. How is she affording all these plane trips to Egypt?
No idea.
I really want to know about that. I'm so fascinated by, I don't know. She doesn't have kids. Kids suck up a lot of your money.
Yeah, I really have no idea. I mean, those
Anywho, that's what I was wondering.
Expensive plane
because
tickets.
Those are, I mean, especially 7 days, that short, that's a $2,000 or $3,000 plane ticket.
Yeah, maybe.
They need to have a 90-day financial discussion or something. I would love to get a breakdown of exactly how much each of these people have paid for these things and what's, and how they got the money and what it looks like and all of that.
Yeah, me too.
So 90-Day Fiancé, if you're listening. So then she's at a flea market and she runs into, well, not really runs into, the producers.
The producers arranged for
is it Evelyn
and
Janine and Nicole. And this is the other thing, one of either Evelyn or Janine points this out, that Nicole is a little bit of a secretive person, or she kind of holds things close to her chest. So they had no idea that she was going back to Egypt. The last they had heard was that she was going to get a divorce. Yeah. And so they obviously are very surprised. And I think what's so hard about this is, Emmeline and Janine, they're saying, the right things. They're being supportive friends, but it's advice that you just can't apply. Do you know what I mean? To this situation. Everyone, I think people keep coming with this sort of Americanized, like, let him know how you feel and, let's tell him this. Simple. And it's not that simple. And I've had this with clients too that have been, raised in very conservative homes, or, parents are from another country, and there's no discussion. There's no talking. Like, you cannot, Mahmoud is not, just one conversation with her, Mahmoud is not going to change his entire belief system, right, and his religious beliefs and who he is and how he sees his life. Right. So anyway.
Before I forget this, I just had a thought about, you were asking about the plane tickets. Mm-hmm. I bet you that the production company paid for that, because she was already filming. Well, at least this last trip, mm-hmm, because she was filming before she left to go to Egypt.
There was a bunch of pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously the first and second time before she was on this show, she paid for it. But I'm sure that the latest trips that all these people are taking, mm-hmm, to go, permanently, quote unquote, permanently go overseas, I'm sure TLC or whoever's paying for it.
Yeah.
Just thought about that.
So the plan was, right, she was going to come back. So the original plan after those 2 months was she came back here. She was going to apply for the spousal visa so Mahmoud could come here. And she was going to go back and forth. So this is the plane tickets I was talking about. She was going to go back and forth. And she said that she'd gone back and forth about 7 times. Oh. So I feel like that's a lot.
That is a lot.
She went, 6 times. And she said then things started to, things continued to fall apart. They fought all the time about everything. And then she decided, she's married 11 months, and she finally decides, you know what, I'm done. I want a divorce, and then blocked him.
Yeah, she canceled the K-1 visa application. But then she said, she's talking about how just awful, his standards are and how impossible it is. And then she says that she misses him like crazy.
Yes. So
really? Is he really like a 26-year-old? You're 38, all this stuff. What do you miss exactly? If you're fighting all the time, you haven't spent that much time together in real life at all. You're fighting all the time. He's treating you like, like you have to do what I say. Mm-hmm. What does she miss about that?
I don't know. And I say this all the time to my clients, which is people have this idea, and I see it more with women than men, but this idea of, I love this person. They're my soulmate. I miss them. We complete each other. Right. And it's like, you can have relationships with people Mahmoud and Nicole may be soulmates. It doesn't necessarily mean they need to be married. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? There's the love part of a relationship where you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see them, and the butterflies and all of those feelings. And that's one part of it. But in order to have a successful long-term relationship, the other part of it is that the two of you have to have the same values. You have to want the same things. You want to live the same kind of life, right? Our mother, what was her expression? Like, if you don't want to live on a farm in Iowa, don't marry an Iowa farmer.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's the problem in this. And I think that Nicole is mistaking just the fact that she really loves and cares about this person, but that isn't enough.
No.
And it's not enough to move. And just because you have this deep attraction and love to someone also doesn't mean that they're meant to be your lifelong mate.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times with these 90-day fiancé couples, it's just like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole all the time, just constantly. And it's just frustrating.
It's very frustrating. And I can imagine for all these friends, because we were talking before, right, that the friends really showed up this episode.
The friends they're out.
But the one thing that she did say that I would agree with her, she said that he kept changing the rules or kept adding on new rules. Mm-hmm. So she constantly felt like she was in trouble or that she wasn't doing it right, which I have to say I can understand that. Like, because it sounds like she wasn't going there and insisting on wearing a tank top. Like, she was like, okay, I'll cover up and I'll do this and I'll do that. I'm not talking to men. But she did say that he kept busting out with new rules. So I don't know if the rules are so long, there's no way for one person to absorb them all at once, or if there is something a little manipulative and controlling about them.
It seems like in addition to, that it's not just the cultural rules, but that maybe he's just a really jealous person.
Yes.
And he would be like this regardless.
Yes. And this is the other part of it too, is I feel like with Nicole, for someone who loves fashion, clothes really define her. She loves this, like, for her to, give that up.
Yeah, it's part of her personality.
Yeah. And so that, I think that's the other thing is that she just, she's having to give up a part of who she is and how she identifies with herself for this. And again, is love more important than that? And personally, I think you have to like yourself and like who you are and how you live your life.
Exactly. And you know what? Yeah, he might be a great guy. He's not the only great guy in the world.
Yes.
There's a lot of great guys in LA, I think.
Yes, I think. And you know what? I think a lot of them are Egyptian. And
yes, it's a very culturally diverse place. If that's what you like, I'm sure they have a very large Egyptian community there. So, You don't have to move to Egypt, Nicole. I'm giving you permission.
Well, yes, to find it, or maybe go somewhere else. LA's tough. Well, the other thing was that I've now just lost my train of thought. Oh, she did say that this, no one's loved her like this, and then she goes into this whole story of like he's not a emo artist. It sounds like her type before Mahmoud was. This kind of tortured artist. Right. And it's a little bit like, okay, so he's different, those other people. And maybe he's
type.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what, huh? Just because he's different. And I think that's the other thing that people latch on to is this is different than a different kind of person, but it doesn't mean that the pattern is different. Right. You're still going through the same pattern, as we'll see with Jen. You keep going through the same pattern, but it just doesn't
change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on to Jen and Rishi.
Oh, wait, really quick about this. Okay. Last thing. She says at the end, well, because they have that Skype call or Zoom call and they're talking, and it is so clear in that call. So clear, right? Like he's like, no, these are the rules. This is how it's going to be. This is it. And she ends the call and says, I think I can change his mind.
Oh, wow.
And she thinks that she can, this is a very American thing, right? Which is we have the best way, the right way. And so I'll just eventually convince them and show him that he is wrong and I am right. And that's not okay.
No.
All right. Sorry. Jen and Rishi. We don't really see Rishi. A lot of Jen.
She's moving to India in a week. And so she's having a final dinner with her mom, her brother, and her sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. And they start talking, and it comes up that Jen, not only has she never met Rishi's parents, but...
No, she has met Rishi's parents.
Let me back up. She met them once when she was there in India, and he introduced her as a friend.
Yes, big red flag.
So they don't know that... they are dating or engaged or anything. Mm-hmm. They just know they met this girl one time and they probably think, we're never going to see her again.
Yeah.
She's just traveling through here. So they are shocked. They're like, you're kidding. Mm-hmm. And, she's trying to say, she did say that he told his parents that he didn't want an arranged marriage. He wanted to have a love marriage, but that really still, even if you have a love marriage, you're still expected to marry an Indian person, not some woman from the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows this is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It already is a problem. And
Rishi knows this is a problem. Rishi knows this is a problem. Both of them know this is a problem. What I think is so interesting is it's revealed that Jen has this real bond with her sister-in-law, Tara, and that obviously, Jen, even this person that you're really close to, you're keeping all of these secrets from them. And that's such a red flag. That's such because she knew this is the reaction she was going to get.
She doesn't want to hear it.
She doesn't want to hear it. She knows it's really that people are going to have a problem with all of this. And then the other thing too is that she's worried about bringing up her feelings about that with Rishi. Like, this is the man you're going to marry and you don't even feel comfortable telling him how you feel. That's a problem.
And I wrote down that she said that he has no plan to bring it up with his parents. Like, because I think she confronted him about it. Like, well, when are you going to tell your parents?
Yeah.
And he was just kind of like, I don't know. Not right now.
So how is this going to, is this like a Jenny and Sumit thing all over again? Feels like it.
Excuse me.
Boy. So then Jen, the producers fly in Randy and Mira.
Randy and
Mira.
They
fly in her friends from college who have seen Jen go through this over and over again. And then we learn a little bit about Jen's backstory, that she rushed into a marriage with someone she only knew for a few months. Her friends did not like him. He sounded like he was really controlling and what did they say? Rude? He was rude.
Yeah, he just never spoke to them.
Yeah.
She said, I'd never... one of them, I can't remember which one, said she was, at the wedding and her husband never once even spoke to her, even though this is like her best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. So that marriage did not last. It only lasted 2 years. And so her friends are here to, again, sort of basically calling her out on this behavior that she has, where she is, you pick terrible men. These two friends, they were, I was laughing, but they were blunt.
They were very harsh.
They were very harsh. They were right in her face. And while I think everything they said to her was true, I just feel like she's got her plane ticket. She's got the plane ticket. She's going to go. She needs to make this mistake. And I feel like for these friends, you either have to decide like to accept Jen for who she is, because it's really about, it's not until Jen decides she doesn't want to do this anymore that this is going to change, or maybe you shouldn't be friends with her. That this is like the whole thing of wanting to control other people and change other people.
Yeah, and also that's not the way to do it. Like the way that they're approaching it.
Oh yeah,
is not the way to do it. And yeah, the whole time Jen just looked really kind of sad and dejected.
Yeah. Well, I think she thought they were going to have a nice little lunch.
Yeah, she was like, "What is happening here?" She clearly seemed, like she was bombarded with that. Like she wasn't expecting it. And then. Was it at that dinner? Yeah, I think it was at that dinner, lunch, whatever it was, where one of them, I can't remember which one.
It was Randy,
Randy, who's kind of obnoxious. She suggested, or no, the other one, I don't.
Well, Randy's the one that brought up
the blonde one.
Randy.
Okay. And then the dark-haired one is
Myra.
Okay, so one of them suggested, that they had this plan. They were going to catfish Rishi, because one of their complaints was, if you look at his social media, he's only friends with women, and he has all these pictures of himself. And Jen's, well, yeah, he's a model, But anyway, they are suspicious.
They're worried that he, on his Instagram, that he has no sort of like, this is my girlfriend, or I'm going to get married. Single. He looks very single and acts like he's very single. Though I have to say, in Rishi's defense, I have an Instagram that's for my business, and
yeah, you wouldn't know.
He's
a personal trainer, and he probably this is
I don't post pictures of my husband on it.
Yeah, this is his image he's putting out to the world. That he's this hot guy. Of course women are going to be the ones who are, Anyway, so one of them has this bright idea to catfish him on social media and see if he responds. And
that's Randy who did that.
Okay, so Randy calls her the next day and says, "Oh, I sent him a message and he responded." And she seems, the way she was describing what was said, I felt was completely innocent. It was sort of like she said, "Hey, nice picture," or something, made some compliment. And then he wrote back and he said, "Oh, hello,
how do we know each other?
How do we know each other?" Which, nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And then he says, "Where are you from?" or "Where do you live?" Something like that. And based upon those two questions that he asked, and he never said anything else, never tried to, take it further, hit on her, nothing. And she says, "Oh, this is a red flag." That he said those two things.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking to myself, Randy, you jumped the gun by scheduling this. Like, wait it out. You need to wait this out. I'm with you, because I think that, again, I don't want to be like Jen and make excuses for Rishi, because I think there's, I don't think Jen should go to India. But at the same time, that is all. I get weird messages from people, and sometimes you respond, sometimes you don't. And, he wasn't. He was asking pretty innocuous questions.
He didn't do anything wrong.
There was no kind of gotcha moment, but Randy felt this need to have this follow-up conversation with her.
Well, she was given a task by the producer.
Yeah, she was. And Randy does not mess around, people.
She only had a couple days to devote to this. She had to finish it, and she got it done. So anyway, Jen didn't really give a shit.
Yeah, no. Again, Jen's got her ticket.
Jen is leaving.
But you know what? Once she gets to India, this part's going to be very interesting, because she talks about being jealous and possessive, and that's why she's not following him on social media, because she doesn't want to get anxious about it. But why are you? If you have a problem with jealousy, don't marry a model trainer.
Exactly,
because women are always going to be attracted to him.
And then they show in the scenes for next week, they show Rishi's parents showing him photos of women who they want to set him up on an arranged marriage with. They're clueless. I don't know. This is not gonna go well.
And what does his parents think these cameras are for?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, what is Rishi telling them about these cameras? Like, yeah. And again, I've had clients who I worked with a client whose parents basically decided that they cannot have a relationship with him anymore because he is marrying a girl. She is Indian, but she's from a different caste. And that is enough for them to be like you. And he's basically having to pick between his family and his future wife. So it's hardcore. It really is. And Rishi, I think, is trying to have his cake and eat it too. I think he wants to have this relationship with Jen, but he doesn't want to deal with his parents. So I don't know how this is going to work.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
Maybe he's just doing this for attention. Maybe he told them that he's a part of some documentary or something.
Do you think Rishi? And so, do you think everyone keeps saying that Rishi's going to take advantage of her? Does Jen have any money? I mean, what exactly? Think so. I think he's got money. So
he has 2 good jobs.
Yeah. So
she doesn't even have a job.
So what is he going to? Again, I don't know what he's getting any out of this besides, right, wanting to be in this relationship with her. I don't know.
We'll see.
All right. So let's move on. Do you want to do Kris and Jeymi,
sure.
Gabe?
We'll do Kris and Jeymi. It was not a lot. They're preparing to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Jeymi, we had this sad scene at the airport. It really was sad. I was like, her poor family, they don't know like when they're ever going to see her again. They're worried about her. I mean, as they should be.
Yeah.
They're being very supportive, but they're very worried about her.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, if that was my kid, I would be worried too, or my mother. And it was interesting when she started listing things. And when she starts to list them, like she's leaving, she's never been out of the country before. She's never lived in a big city. She doesn't speak the language. She has a serious medical problem and she knows one person there. And that is really overwhelming. So that was hard.
That was very sad.
But then we see in Colombia, Jeymi going to see some friends who, are going to do her hair and makeup. And
she revealed that she used to do pageants.
Yes, she's a pageant kid.
She's a pageant kid, and she worked with these guys. And then she was the pageant coach or something. And
she said model coach, but maybe that's passion coach.
What else? Yeah.
But again, her friends, these 2 guys, somehow see everything very clearly.
Yeah, they're very skeptical.
Yeah, they too are like, wait a second, hold on, that's not love. And hold on, wait a second, that's not. I mean, they're really everything that she said. They're kind of like, wait, hold on. And then that one friend really called her on this when she said, well, Kris had disappeared and my grandmother died. And so I reached out to someone else. And he said, oh, you had an affair. And she said, well, no, it's dependent on how you see it. And he's like, well, the first time you reach out to someone, it's the start of an emotional affair. I was like,
thank you.
Yes. Okay. So Jeymi feels like she is entitled to have an affair with someone because her grandmother died. and she was feeling sad. Right? I mean, that's what it seems like.
I don't
know about her. I don't trust her.
I don't find her like endearing at all. There's something shady about her. And I really feel for Kris. Kris is such a sympathetic character to me. And so I'm really worried about her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the best is she said, they're asking her, they're like, how do you know? You've never seen this person in person. And she said, what was her quote? She said, she knows Kris is the one because she feels butterflies through the phone.
Okay, then.
All right. Yeah. It's just, oh boy. All right. So you want to do Gabe?
Yeah,
Gabe. Well, it's very little Gabe, but we got to meet Isabel, who I feel, after seeing Gabe and Isabel, I like her. I'm feeling a lot better about this relationship with Gabe and Isabel. I'm feeling a little more hopeful than I was before.
I like her. She seems just very understanding, open-minded, loving, caring. I mean, I'm waiting for
the other shoe to drop.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we first see Gabe. He's packing his bags, talking to his mom. His mom doesn't understand why he's rushing into the marriage, and we find out that one of the issues is that he has a limited visa, right? So I guess you can only travel to the country for 111 days, 118, yeah. And so they're at this point now where they either have to get married or he can't. This isn't going to work.
They're not going to just keep renewing this visa forever.
Yeah. So, but we meet Isabel, who's 34, and we see her playing Nerf Wars with her kids. She has a daughter, Sarah, 16, and a son, Miguel. And we learn that she got pregnant at 17 very early with her first boyfriend. They broke up. And then about a year later, or a little while after, she meets Miguel's father, and then things go bad again. I guess he was much older than her. And so she ended up going to school. She left all these men, went to school, got a job to support her kids. And so that's why I feel like, okay, I'm liking you, Isabel. Yeah. Like you're
self-supporting.
Yes. And you learned about yourself. Right. You saw this pattern. You said, I got to stop this pattern. And I think that's one of the reasons why she really likes Gabe is very different, has a different air, different energy.
Yeah. She said, or I think it was Sarah, the daughter, who said that all of her mom's former boyfriends were sexist and rude.
Yes, that's it. I said that rude thing earlier. I'm like, I know someone said sexist and rude.
So yeah, Miguel has a totally different energy because
Gabe.
Sorry, what did I say?
Miguel
has a son. Yeah, he just has a different energy.
Yeah. Well, God, that Sarah is beautiful. I mean, Isabel is beautiful. Sarah is even more beautiful. And she does mention, like, we're like sisters, and there is a little bit.
Yeah. Well, they're very close in age.
Yeah, they're very close in age, and so they feel like sisters.
Just don't take it too far. Like extreme sisters.
Well, and so this was interesting too, right? Where Isabel says that she met Gabe. Gabe gave her his social media. And then and then once he knew that she saw his social media, he felt like, oh, I need to tell you something. I need to.
Yeah. He had a little bit of a different story.
Yeah. And that was weird because I think this sounds like Isabel meets Gabe, goes on his social media, sees that he has transitioned, and, so she knows instantly. She knows before he even says anything to her.
Because he had chronicled it on social media. Yeah, he claimed that he met her at the club or whatever that night, and then he decided he was going to tell her the next day. But it sounds like there was maybe more time, unless she did all this Facebook investigating.
Isabel, God, I mean, I like to just go to bed, but I guess some people want to deep dive into someone's Instagram.
Either way, it's not like he was trying to hide anything. He's got a lot, and she said that it didn't bother her because in her mind, there was nothing feminine about him. And she kind of intimated that she knew that, there really wasn't anything feminine about him. That's kind of the vibe that I got. So maybe they had been intimate before this was confirmed. I don't know. But she was just like, I'm fine. I'm attracted to him. I love him. It doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter to Sarah. She's open-minded.
They don't know how to tell Miguel. They need to tell Miguel, and then obviously her family. She did say that she didn't know how to react. It was interesting the way she said it. Like when she found out, she said, I didn't know how to react, but I knew I wanted to keep talking. And I just think that made me think that, okay, this is a person with their head on their shoulders, right? That not this, oh my God, this is the love of my life. I love them. And no, I don't care at all. I think it's a very human reaction to, okay, not what I expected. This is new to me. This is a new experience, but I like this person and I'm going to keep exploring it. It's like, oh, thank God for you, Isabel. Somebody.
I know. So
normal.
Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried for Isabel. I'm like,
you're changing. So what are you worried about for Isabel? You feel like Gabe is.
There has to be drama on this show. Otherwise it's boring, So there has to be drama with every couple. So I don't know. I'm trying to. What is their drama going to be?
I think the drama is going to be this whole thing about telling his family. I really do think that there have been other people where, you know, it was a good match and it worked out and all of that. And I think for those people, it's like blood from a stone kind of a thing where there really isn't a lot. So they have to make it up. But I do think that besides telling her family, I do think there could be some drama in terms of what we were talking about last week with Gabe and jumping into these relationships, and also obviously Isabel's dedicated to her children, and I wonder if Gabe is going to respect that and kind of like he's kind of getting an insta family, and I'm wondering if he's going to get overwhelmed by that, or right, because he's a little bit of a fly by night, you know, person. All right. Are we saving the best for last?
Our favorite couple.
Danielle, I cannot hate a person more than I hate this person. And I just love Johan.
Well, I don't know. Johan, the sparkle is kind of worn off of Johan.
Oh, no.
And not that he's bad or anything, but just, I don't know.
You don't like the way he's running his business?
I don't like the flies on the meat.
No.
No, I don't know. It's just kind of like, okay, like, what's so great about this guy other than his physical appearance?
Yeah, I think he just seems like, I don't think he's a deep thinker. I don't think that he's, you know, the greatest at cocktail parties, but I like him more than I like her.
Oh, well, that's not hard.
I guess, yeah. All right. So we pick up literally right where we leave off. They're in the car. She's just dropped this bombshell and told him that no mas New York, Nueva York, that they, and so just love this. They're driving back and she tells them all this. And then they're like, okay, well, now we have to go see the family. You know, it's like, Danielle, you couldn't have picked a different time. You know, now he has to open the door and see his family and, after
hearing all this.
After hearing all of this. But I guess, he lives with 16 other people?
Yeah, there were 16 people in one house. And everyone loves Danielle. Because I think everyone sees Danielle as, you know, Miss Moneybags.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know who said that. Is this Johan? Must have said this. It says every Dominican dreams of the U.S. You know that, and he's the appointed one in his family.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Make it to the U.S. And you know, so they're going to spend one night there at his house, and then go to a hotel because that's all Danielle will entertain.
Yeah. Well, and she said something else to him about like, I can't remember what this is in connection to. She said to him, do you want a miserable wife? It's like a lot of this kind of like manipulative, emotional blackmail with him all the time of like, you know, make me comfortable, make me happy, or I'm going to basically saying, if you don't make me happy, I'm going to be miserable and
take it out on you.
Yeah. And that's not fair.
She's really bitchy.
She is.
This whole episode, she was so nasty and bitchy. And it's just like, wow. Like,
yeah. You're a spiritual yoga teacher, and
exactly. And
geez, you don't walk the walk, lady.
No, and it's almost like she got married to him. She locked that down, and now she's just kind of like, okay, now you got to do whatever I want.
Yeah. Forget your dreams.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think this is the moment where I really did like Johan, where he said, basically, he's like, okay, he concedes, he's going to keep the peace, but then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to let her see how basically what he didn't say this verbatim, but he's like, I'm just going to let her see that being in the DR is not that great. And that when you're not on vacation, it's not fun. And I bet you anything that she will very quickly realize that she does not enjoy this.
Right.
So the question is, how long will she do that? And then will she also just continue to hold the visa over his head? Like, is she going to start applying for the visa? She's not going to apply. She hasn't applied for the visa.
No. And she said she's not going to, basically. I mean,
yeah. So, but I think Johan still thinks that she's applying for the visa. She never told him that she wasn't applying for it. I think he inferred that, but so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Because the way she worded it, she said, well, now that I've told Johan that we're going to be staying in the DR longer than he thought. We're going to have to do XYZ or whatever. So, yeah, she's not telling him directly anything. She's just basically saying, I don't want to go back and live there, and I want to live here. And so, yeah, she's really just stringing him along.
Well, and then, so this is the crux of what happened with them was Danielle goes to see Johan's butcher shop. And it was a bit of a culture shock.
You forgot her 10-step skincare routine.
Oh, God. I guess I blocked that out. Please tell me about the 10-step skincare routine.
Well, I don't know what the 10 steps are. It starts with ice. But she says in New York, she has a 10-step skincare routine.
Morning and night. That's a lot.
I mean, her skin is nice, but I mean, it's not like... whatever.
Why? Yeah. Why do you need a 10-step?
I don't know, but she says she can't really do it at Johan's house because she doesn't have all the accoutrements and the water. It doesn't really look like they have running water there.
I don't think they do.
So she's outside with. I guess that's why she had the ice because there's no water. I don't really know, but yeah, she's got her little roller thing.
Yeah, I see those all the time.
Face.
Should I get one of those?
I don't think so.
Do you think that'll make me look any younger?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I've never tried it. But...
I have like a 3-step skincare routine that I do once a day, and I feel very proud that I managed to get that together.
Yeah. Well, I only have 2 steps. I wash my face with some cleanser. And then, I do have 3 steps, I guess. I always have a special eye cream I put on, and then I put on my moisturizer. And
wait, do you put on the eye cream at night or during the day?
No. In the after I shower, my skin is, and if I don't shower, I'll still put it on. I wash my face, put it on.
Yeah. See, I cleanse my face in the shower, and then I do this toner and let that dry, and then I put on like these moisturizers with SPF, and then I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's good. And I don't know.
I'd like to do more, but I don't know what's worth the money and what's not worth the money. I see stuff all the time and I think, because I've tried a lot of different things and I've just found nothing really does anything.
Yeah, the expensive stuff, the times that I've invested a bunch of money in something, I'm kind of like, it's kind of the same as something else. I don't know. Tell us if anyone has a great skincare routine that would like to share it with us.
I know. I mean, I think the celebrities, they... Yeah, they go to the fancy dermatologist and get all these fancy treatments and lasers and peels and that stuff probably does work.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
You look at celebrity women who look really great. They wouldn't look like that if they weren't rich.
Yeah, that's what money will do for you, right? Anytime you see the picture of the Kardashians, right, from then and now, it's like, yeah, this is what hundreds of millions of dollars can buy you.
I know. I saw a quote one time. I can't remember who said it, but they said the best way to have great skin is to be rich.
Yes.
So anyway,
all right. Well,
I just wanted to
oh, yes, you're right. And they devoted a lot of time to it. So I think I blacked out during that time.
So then they go to the butcher shop.
Okay. So I actually Googled, and I really Okay. Yes, I Googled. I really wanted to know, because this is obviously a cultural thing. And I really wanted to know, is standard practice for these kinds of meat shops?
Right.
Like, what is the standard?
And refrigeration.
Right. I couldn't really, of course, I got a bunch of articles about these two people because, and I'm like, I don't care about them. I really want to know. Because she walked in with a look of disgust on her face. And being from the U.S., I can totally understand. Like, I'm sure the smell wasn't great.
Yeah.
The flies, it is very disturbing. And, I don't think Steve could even handle being in that shop.
Oh, no. He would be scarred.
My husband is obsessed with food dates.
Preparation, food
expiration dates. And of course, my son now is too. So
that must be fun for you.
Oh, it's a good time. But yeah, I will see things and I'll be like, oh, I can't buy that. That's expiring in a couple days. I'm never...
We don't have time.
I just dumped out a bunch of milk this morning. I mean, it was just like, because Steve was like, this is 3 days old.
Well, yes. And yesterday we were at our mom's house and Steve was horrified to find in her refrigerator a bottle of ketchup that had expired in 2016.
Well, that is bad.
That is
I have
bad.
to say. And Mom started making these excuses like, oh, I don't know. I don't have that. Oh, where'd you get that from?
She's like, no, where did that come from? There's another one in there. Where did that come from? That's not what I use.
And then Steve's like, it's right where you told me it was.
He's like, it was right in the door where you told me it was.
Yes. So do you have any knowledge on this? Like is this the standard?
Well, I mean, just from traveling, I have seen a lot of meat markets like this. Maybe not so. I think they played it up.
You think?
A little bit they kept showing the same footage of like the same flies on the same pieces of meat.
There were quite a few flies,
quite a few flies, and they were, trying to bat the flies away. That was
not a good system.
Not working at all. But I do think, I mean, our standards, I mean, I go to, like to Chinatown, different places, and you see like these carcasses hanging in the window. And I mean, I think it is different. I think it's displayed that way. And then, obviously overnight they've got to put it in something. But I think that is cultural.
Yeah.
What he's saying. I do believe that, but I do think they played it up a little.
Okay. Well, she comes in and starts grilling him like he just asked for funding on Shark Tank, like dun, dun, dun. Like he literally just wanted to show her the butcher shop. Like, look at this, look at what this thing that I did. And she goes right into, well, this is disgusting and this isn't going to work. And how much you earning? Give me your books, like
show me your receipts. Yeah. And I'm going to put this in my computer. And she automatically, without even looking at any documents, she's already assumed he's not making any money.
Yeah.
Just by the looks of this place. And I have to say that I wonder if that was even real.
You don't think the butcher shop is real?
No, there was something about it that, because it was literally like a room with the walls are completely bare except for a sign that says like, pollo, and then,
which was like slanted.
Yeah. And it had some price. It was supposed to be like a price sign, but it looked very weird. And there was literally nothing else in that room. There was a counter and there was meat on the counter, and then like kind of like a light hanging from, it looked like a stage. A butcher shop, when you go into a butcher shop, there's like all kinds of stuff everywhere. I think it was fake.
So you think it was fake? Well, it definitely looks like a front for something if someone was going to do something. But I don't think Danielle's that good of an actress to be able to, because she seemed visibly disgusted and mad and all of these other things. I don't think they're that good at actors. But I'm with you. It is bizarre.
It didn't look real, right? It didn't look normal.
Yeah, it didn't. But it was also, maybe this could be. I just don't think they're that good of actors. And I really did believe what was happening. I really do, that she was disgusted. But maybe she's a better actress than I thought. I mean, listen, I don't think that her concerns are valid, but there's a way of saying, oh, what is in your culture? How do you, is this the standard for how you display meat? And how does that work? Do you then put the meat back into the freezer? Like, ask a few questions first.
Also, she spent a lot of time in the Dominican Republic at this point, and she's never seen a butcher shop. She's never gone to a grocery store. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's never had occasion to see how food is sold. And
I don't think she has. I mean, listen, I didn't watch that other show, the Caribbean Love, but I do think that when they go there, I think she goes and I think she says hi to his family, and then I think they get back in that car and I think they go back to a resort. I really do. Or some kind of very Americanized place. So, because she said, oh, that's why I got sick on the meat the last time, and I'm never going to eat meat in this country, and all of that. I mean, I just get the sense that that this is the most that she's seen of what really his life is like. But Johan does say at the very end, I do want to quote him. He's like, what business is going to make money instantly? And I'm like, you're right, Johan. You do have to invest money into your businesses. And listen, I understand Danielle's anxiety about everything in terms of not wanting to. I mean, obviously she's worried that she's going to get there and he's going to keep sinking money into this business that's not going to work, right? And she's going to keep, giving him money. But again, Danielle, if you just follow through with the first agreement that you made with him, this wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't be freaking out. And I think we see it in the previews next week where it's like, Johan's just kind of like, well, no, I don't have the money for this apartment because we were supposed to be going to the U.S., lady.
Well, yeah, and he makes so little money, and he's, I don't know. And, one thing she said that I just thought was like, creepy. She says, I get why he wants to open a butcher shop. He's 6'7" with big hands. Yeah, go cut some meat. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
that's gross. And she just objectifies him.
Yes.
All the time she objectifies him. She puts him down. Mm-hmm. She has no faith in him. It's like, why'd you marry this guy?
Yeah.
Why? Why? You seem to hate him, quite frankly. And then she expects this guy to pay for half of the rent on this apartment. I mean,
you've seen the house. You've seen 16 people living in this place, Danielle.
Yeah. And there was one point when they were talking about money. And I think it was when she was asking him how much he paid his employees. And they put up on the screen what he said, how much it was in, Dominican money, what that translated to in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it's pesos. Do they use pesos?
Yeah, I think so. And they translated the money into U.S. and it was something like, $1.50 a day or something. I mean, it was like something crazy. I mean, it's like the standard of living here, Danielle, is very different and what people get paid and everything else. And she just wants him to pay for half the rent.
Yeah. Well, okay. So do you have a prediction? How long will Danielle last in the Dominican? Living there day to day, teaching yoga on the beach?
Gosh, that's a tough one. Because I feel like she's so stubborn. She'd probably stick it out for a while. I mean, less than a year.
Oh, God. You're giving her a lot more time than I thought. I give it about, is it more than Nicole in Egypt? I'm thinking of like 4 months.
4 months. Yeah.
I'm going to give it about 4 months. I think it's going to take her, I think that there's the initial high. Then I think that you then settle in and I think people kind of get, it's hard at first and then you get that second wind. And she does speak the language, which I think does help her. But it sounds like she, there's lots of things that she doesn't know how to say to him. So again, I don't know if she's going to be able to get a job and how this is all going to work.
Yeah,
I don't know.
She doesn't have a ton of money. She's asking him to pay half the rent.
Anyway.
But
that's the thing is, I think the thing is, I feel like she has some money. I think that she wants him to pay half the rent to be equals.
But they're not equals.
But and that's the thing, Danielle, you're not equals. Like, he is dependent on you. He is a hard worker. And you're right. Why did she marry him? Because she seems to just only love the fact that he's a big guy and that's it.
Yeah.
Ugh, Johan, get out. Honestly, I would love to see Johan be like, F you, divorce her, and then get back on it.
Yeah.
And find someone else who wants to go to who wants to live in the U.S. and appreciate you.
Yeah, there are so many women who will bring you to the U.S. and get you a visa, and you can live out your dreams.
Yes. Here, yeah. And I think that I don't think Johan would split with, I think Johan would stick around. I think that if he found someone he cared about, I think he would.
Yeah.
Oh, Johan, you got to get away from Danielle.
now I'm worried about him.
Yes.
Got 3 people I'm worried about.
All right. Well, yes. But I'm feeling better about Gabe and Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. I'm very, very worried for Kris. Nicole and Mahmoud, no way. I give her another 2 weeks back there. I think there's no way she's going to last again. And I also wonder if I kind of have this feeling that producers approached her and she was like, oh, I was going to divorce the guy. And they were like, oh, we'll pay for all this stuff. And she
drag it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I also wonder too, is anyway.
Yeah, she could have contacted them when, originally when she was applying. She did apply for the K-1 visa, but she canceled it. So she could have contacted them back then, and then things changed. But so she decided to give it one more.
Yeah, go for TV. Boy.
Anyway, so looking forward to next week.
Yes, yes. We're going to meet someone new next week, too.
Yeah, the big age gap, the 50-year age gap couple. So what we have on tap for this week is this episode is coming out Tuesday. On Thursday, we are going to have an episode where we're going to be covering Extreme Sisters, which is on TLC. And I've had a little trouble finding places to watch it, but it's really good. It's season 2. It's a really good show. I mean,
if you can find it, if you have basic cable.
Yeah, you have to have basic cable.
You have to have TV. I mean,
well, because
it's not on the app.
On Discovery Plus. They only have season 1 on Discovery Plus. So if you have regular cable, or if you have a live, I have Hulu with live TV, I can get it that way. But anyway, it's worth it to find it. It's just it's unbelievable what's on this show. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday, and then we're also going to drop a bonus episode, a Sister Wives bonus episode, finishing up the Sister Wives book.
Didn't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
if someone's finished part 2 and just wondering what happened with these people.
What happens in part 3 and 4? Well, you'll find out on Thursday.
Yes, yes.
And so going forward, then we'll be doing Sisters on Thursday
and on Tuesdays.
And,
we'll see how it goes.
Whatever else comes up.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast. And also, if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, that would really help us out. We really appreciate it.
We got some recently. I learned from you that we got some really nice reviews from people. And I was like, are we related to them? It's no. Strangers like the show. Yeah. So it really does help, and it encourages us to keep trucking and moving forward and building the PLP empire.
Yeah, because we don't know. We just put this stuff out there, and we're not really sure. We're not really sure if people like it.
Our mom likes the show, but we have anybody else, we have no idea.
Yeah. So it's very nice to leave
and we
reviews.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
We have an email, Psych Legal Pop. Is it podcast? Mm-hmm. I should have shortened that. psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com. So if you have ideas of shows, or if you have any input, like, hey, I like this show, can you cover that? Or, hey, less of this and more of that, we would love to hear it. We always appreciate it. And we want to hear from you. What is it that you want? What do you want us to cover?
Yeah, because we like everything. Yeah. Not everything, but I mean, we're very diverse. And we can go highbrow and we can go low.
Yes. We've really sort of gone low and stuck there because that's what the people seem to want. I mean, that's the thing is that we're picking a lot of these topics based on the numbers, what people are listening to and what people aren't.
Yeah. So we're happy to do it.
All right. I think that is it.
That covers it. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.